Röda Sten gave open call for people to come and build the house that they want to live in as a cooperative house in Göteborg, as a new prototype of living together. And it's around 20 people that joined the workshop, and right now they're discussing and making models. And in the evening we will lay the ground, the ground space of the house on the floor of the cathedral, the exhibition space at Röda Sten. The whole project is actually to envision a new way of living together. I think that's very important. This is what when I'm talking about the vision or the future that our society needs to have. This will be a workshop or an experiment for Göteborg. And we will try to think together with residents of Göteborg to think about how, if there is possible to live in the city which is different than the city of today, and if yes, how can we coexist together? Oh, it's fantastic, and we just put up one wall, and right now we are creating the core of the house, which will be a common space, and Albin and Anne are now thinking about where to put the stove. The central space is very important for the house. It will have a big light on the top, light window on the top, and there on the ground we will sit together, and we were thinking to put up the stove there, maybe a rocket stove that could also heat the seats, a bench where you can sit on.
Several options at the first table.
It's very important to have an idea of the future that you as a citizen want to participate in, and you can say it's my city and I am the city. I think that's super important today for different reasons. I think that maybe what comes to my mind is that the social state is exiting, and on another side you have the ideas that or lifestyles that actually pushes us towards thinking about sustainable way of life. It's not only about climate change, but it's also the finitude of natural resources. So suddenly people started really to think on the local scale. I think this is like a challenge today, to think locally and to also think about how we want to work, to live and to work in sustainable way in cities.
Basically the same, bedroom, a living room.
Tanken här är att man ska kunna gå in här och spela in sig själv i det här utedasset, i hemlighuset. Och sen kommer de rösterna som spelas in här inne kommer spelas upp i rummet här utanför. Så det blir som en slags interaktiv ljudgästbok, kan man säga.
So the current project, which we call now the Common Roof Project, is somehow a second edition of a longer time commitment of Röda Sten in thinking about the city. I think 2 years ago there was a project called Disassembled, which was initiated by architecture group Anna and Mark. They are called Stels Unlimited from Rotterdam, and they were engaged in the public space around Röda Sten Konsthall. But what we try to do now is to think about the future of coexisting together in Göteborg. So we try to build a prototypical residential urban unit, which we call cooperative house, inside Röda Sten. It will be built and constructed during the 2 months of the exhibition within the main exhibition space, which is called Cathedral. The title Common Roof actually comes from the idea that many people today they somehow think about. People try to understand what is the basis of their living in the city. So it's not only about sleeping and working in another place, but somehow if we want to think about the local city, then you also have to think about community you live with. Basically what I like to say is, if you know your neighbor, you're fine. But actually, like if you think about living in these big anonymous houses, building blocks or tower blocks as you call them here in Sweden, then you don't need to know your neighbor. So it's a different kind of city. It's a modernist city. It's a city made of individuals. But now we think more about the idea of the city made of smaller communities, when people can come together and organize their neighborhoods, if you want to say so. So the Common Roof project has this idea of the common in the title. Also, as I was just saying to the workshop participants, is that the idea of the common also became very important today, because we have to think about on what basis we want to live together, and it's not only about like interaction and to think about a different kind of exchange of services, exchange of knowledge, but also about the concept of the space. In many cases today, let's say the public space is a no man's land. So there is a need to think also about the positive space, which we call now community space. Is there a possibility to have another way of public space? Like what is really beautiful about the construction of the house is that it will continuously grow during the 2 months period. So we don't know how it will look like at the end, but the challenge is that the ideas are checked step by step, and then at the end we have some kind of result that is pulled together by the common knowledge. And like the ideas that float around is also to somehow construct a house where you can live and work together, like live and work in the same house. So basically that the residential spaces of cities are not far away from where you work, but actually that somehow you can create an environment where you can live and work. So this is one of the ideas, and of course a lot of ideas about self-sustainability as a checkup. You know, like also the discussions about food. Do we want to grow vegetables? What is important? Do we need to have like spaces that are flexible and can change? We found out today 2 great case studies from the beginning of modernist period that were built in Göteborgs. One is called the Rätthus, I think. I don't know where it is. No, Deckhus. It's here, which is like a skeleton house that was where people bought the space in the skeleton house, and then they put their houses within it. So it's a different way of modernism that we have learned to love, to hate, if you want, during this period of time when all these modernist neighborhoods became also like representation of segregated city, and where now Sweden has problems also with riots. But so there is basically another vision at the beginning of modernism that talks about participation between residents and the city. So the city makes half of the house, residents make another house, another part of the house. So that's also, I'm sure, a beautiful idea that we will use in the house above. So we just have some ideas how to do it, but not how it will look like.